What if I told you that the secret to your future health, your mood, even your risk for dementia wasn't in some expensive supplement or a fancy new gadget? What if it's been right there, at the end of your legs, this whole time? It all starts with a number that's, well, it's pretty staggering.
1 in 3. Yeah, think about that for a second.
That's how many adults over 45 will deal with foot pain so bad it actually becomes debilitating. That puts foot pain right up there with low back pain. And yet, for some reason, we just kind of shrug it off as a minor thing.
But what if the real culprit behind all this pain and the key to unlocking a way healthier future has been hiding in plain sight, in our closets, disguised as comfort and style?
It's because we've totally forgotten about our foundation. I mean, we pour so much time and money into taking care of our bodies, but we completely ignore the very platform that everything else is built on.
See, when you can't move without pain, it's never just a physical problem, is it? It starts to chip away at everything, your ability to work, to play, to hang out with people you care about. It literally walls you off from life and messes with your physical, your emotional, and your mental health.
As foot expert Dr. Courtney Connley says, movement is a lifeline. And when that lifeline gets taken away by pain, you can go to some pretty dark places. It's not just about the ache. It's about everything that ache stops you from doing.
And this is what's really at stake. The simple act of walking is an absolute superpower. Just hitting 5,000 steps a day can ease symptoms of depression. If you can push that closer to 10,000, you can literally slash your risk of dementia. Our feet are the engines for one of the most powerful tools we have for a long and healthy life. But something's getting in the way.
So, okay, if our feet are this important, why are they failing so many of us? Well, that brings us to the villain of this story, the modern shoe. Or, as a lot of experts now call it, a kind of shoe-shaped coffin for your feet.
Let's just break it down. Most of the shoes we wear have 3 huge design flaws. First, they have a tapered toe box which squeezes our toes together into this unnatural pointy shape. Second, they have a raised heel, which keeps the muscles in the back of your leg in a constantly shortened position. And third, they have a stiff, super cushioned sole that basically puts your foot in sensory deprivation, cutting it off from the world.
Researcher Daniel Lieberman came up with this analogy that is just chillingly spot on. Imagine you took a little kid, and from the day they were born, you made them wear thick gloves. All day, every day. Can you even imagine how weak and deformed their hands would be by the time they were 30? That is exactly what we've been doing to our feet for generations.
And here's the thing that's so unique about our feet. They show us the evidence of all that strain. Experts call these apparent loads, all those visible things like bunions and hammer toes. They're not just cosmetic issues, they're warning lights on your body's dashboard, screaming that something deeper is wrong.
And those warning lights, they lead to some very real, very painful problems. That pointy toe box? Yep, directly linked to bunions and those awful painful neuromas. That raised heel? A major reason people get Achilles tendinopathy. And all that weakness from a lifetime of being supported, that's a straight line to plantar fasciopathy, the #1 cause of heel pain.
Okay, I know that all sounds pretty bleak, but here is the really good news. This is not a life sentence. We can actually reverse a lot of this damage and rebuild our foundation, literally from the ground up.
But, and this is a big but, there's a catch. Like Dr. Connley says, you have to earn your right. Think about it. After decades in those shoe-shaped coffins, your feet are weak. You can't just jump into barefoot-style shoes and go for a run. You've got to be smart about it. The transition has to be gradual. So how do you do it safely? It's a pretty simple 4-step plan. You start small. Wear functional foot-shaped shoes for just short bursts of time. Then, you start doing simple exercises to wake up and strengthen those foot muscles. After that, you just gradually, slowly increase the time and the load. And the most important rule of all? You have to listen to your body. Pain is a signal, not something to push through.
The whole point here is to shift our thinking. Instead of just slapping an orthotic in our shoe and relying on that passive support for the rest of our lives, the goal is to build an active, strong, resilient foot that doesn't need a crutch. We're talking about an exit strategy for the insert.
It really all boils down to this. Your very next step, the one you're about to take, matters so much more than you can possibly imagine. I want you to just think about this number. 1,000.
Because adding just 1,000 extra steps to your day, which is what, a 10-minute walk, can reduce your risk of dying from any cause by 15%. I mean, come on. That is an unbelievable return on investment for such a small effort.
Look, if all of this feels like a lot, the absolute simplest starting point, the real low-hanging fruit, is just this. Choose a shoe that lets your foot actually be a foot. You know, wide at the toes, totally flat, and flexible. Just making that one change starts the process of rebuilding your foot's natural, God-given strength.
We all expect our bodies to perform like these incredible jet engines, to be strong, to be fast, to be resilient. But you can't build a jet engine on a paper airplane. So I'll leave you with this question. What are you building your health on?